Hi everybody, and welcome to another meeting with Moon Landings. And this year I met someone at the first concert at Robin Hill Park. I was just casually sitting on our bench and waiting for the concert to begin, and this woman, Barbara Kaskunas, came and said, "Hi, may I sit next to you?" And I said, "Well, the bench is a little bit dusty, but sure." And I said, "Oh, by the way, my name is Bobby." And she said, "Oh, my name is Barbara." And I said, "Oh, what a coincidence. My name is also Barbara. However, I was nicknamed Bobby." And I said, "Well, we must have grown up in the same generation as Barbie dolls." Anyhow, she said, "Oh my goodness." And I said, "Well, why are you here in Moon if you have come here from New Jersey?" And here we go. Let me introduce you to Barbara. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Bobby.
And what about our meeting at Moon, at the concert?
That was just bizarre. And I had said to her, well, I came from New Jersey. First of all, South Jersey. We don't do New Jersey. We do South Jersey, which is different from North Jersey. But anyway, I digress. We moved out here, but I'm really from this area originally. I'm from a little town called Clairton, at which point you said,
"Clairton? I'm from Wilson." You said,
"I'm from Wilson too." I said, "You got to be kidding." She said, "No." I said, wait a minute. "What is your last name?" And she said,
"My last name is Persichetti."
And I said, "Oh my God, you are my Aunt Elsie and Uncle Ken's next door neighbors. So what are the odds?" You have to figure, what are the odds of this happening? I had been out here since March, didn't know anybody, wasn't going to go to this concert because I just thought, I don't think I'm up for this. And for whatever reason I went, and of all the places to sit, I sat next to my aunt's next door neighbor from my hometown, at which point I'm starting to look around saying, okay, who's here and who's orchestrating this whole thing? Because it was just very bizarre. And that's it.
Well, and she admitted to picking my mother's flowers.
Oh, they had, first of all, they had these beautiful peony bushes. And where I lived in Wilson, we didn't have peony bushes. We had a coal bin in our backyard. So to be coming home from school and seeing these beautiful flowers, I didn't think twice about it. Now keep in mind, I was in elementary. I hadn't yet started my life of crime. And I would walk into that yard and pick these beautiful peonies and take them home to my mother. And she thought that was just wonderful. I didn't have the heart to tell her I stole them. But they were your peonies, and I apologize.
She apologized. My mother never planted a peony.
Well, I don't know where they came from.
They were her Aunt Elsie's.
But I thought they were in her yard.
But that is kind of how it went, because her Aunt Elsie and Uncle Milton, Aunt Elsie was the prime librarian for Wilson. So I went over to the library to get my books to read. And Barbara said that was probably going to be her major, and I thought, gee, it's because of Aunt Elsie.
No, I just loved English, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an English teacher. And then somehow, through a scheduling mistake, I ended up in phys ed as a phys ed major, which was a shock to everybody who knew me, because I was not the least bit athletic. I hated gym in high school. I tried to cut as many classes as I could. And taking showers, are you kidding me, with all these girls running around in that shower room and the gym teacher's watching? You get out of town. I wanted nothing to do with that stuff. So somehow through scheduling screw up, I became a phys ed major, and you know what? I loved it. I loved it. I learned that you could learn and have fun while you're learning, and that was the right career choice for me. So I don't know how we got onto this subject right now, but
Well, we got
That's
to
it.
this subject because
Yeah.
whenever she said that she is a phys ed teacher, I was just amazed because whenever I said, I loved doing cartwheels and splits all the way around the block. And we started to name different streets that we remembered. She
Mhm.
knew Residence Way, which is like, she lived right down the street from Residence Way, which was behind where I lived. And we talked about the junior high. We went to Walnut that we walked back and forth from every day for lunch. And also, she was a student teacher at Walnut, and she was Mrs. Wilson. She was Mrs. Wilson, a student teacher in Wilson. And so we remembered the park, we remembered Memorial Hill. We had a lot of fond memories of the way our small town was back in the old days, back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. But then after we remembered all of these things, it was like, maybe we should take a trip. So Barbara, what did we do? That
we
concert
did.
was on a Wednesday, and on a Saturday,
Yeah.
we took a trip back to Wilson, PA.
And it was kind of like, maybe we shouldn't have done this, to be honest with you, because there's so much, it was just so different. Like when we were there 3,000 years ago, at least 3,000, well, not you, you were just a kid,
Oh.
but 3,000 years ago, it was alive. The kids were on the streets playing, but when we went back, it was like, you used the term blighted, and that's really a kind word, blighted. It's not blighted, it's been decimated. It's just nothing like it was when we were growing up back there. I had taken pictures. We went to Walnut Avenue School. We saw the rec center where we played. We saw the churches that we went to, and going downtown. No, okay, downtown. It's one street. It's 3 blocks. I mean, cut me a break, but that was our downtown. Mm-hmm. And now you go downtown and you have maybe a couple stores standing, and the rest of them are closed or demolished. And it was just, it was nice to go back because it brought back an awful lot of great memories. But at the same time, it like tugged to your heart because you remember what it used to be like, and those days are gone. And that's really kind of sad,
Yeah. We were very sad about that with
Yeah.
Whenever we were touring the town and we were taking the pictures.
Yeah.
Because what the other things we were finding in common that we triggered is that we both have deceased husbands that were Lithuanian. We both are named Barbara, and we don't know why after, let me see, you moved away from Wilson when you were a sophomore in high school, I think you said?
Freshman.
A freshman, and you moved to, my family was too afraid to go all the way to Levittown.
Well,
Ta-da.
we did. My dad had passed, my birth dad had passed away in 48, and my mom remarried in 52, and they worked at Irvin Works up in West Mifflin, I believe it was. Well, U.S. Steel started building Fairless Works out in Bucks County, and they were looking for people to transfer out there, and of course my mom and stepdad, in a heartbeat, they're gone. And we settled in Levittown, PA. So I went from, we had a lawn. We had a corner property with grass. Of course, we weren't allowed to walk on it. Get off that grass. So we left that to go out to Levittown, and I went from Walnut Avenue School with maybe 40 kids in the entire freshman class to a school called Pennsbury High School. And Pennsbury High School had maybe 40 kids in one classroom of freshmen, and there were like 5 other classrooms of freshmen. It was traumatic, to say the least. But that's how we ended up in Levittown. It was a good move for us. Mm-hmm. We lived right across the street from the steel mill when we were in Wilson, and all the emissions and all the smoke and all the dirt. My mom had a tough time keeping the windows clean and the curtains clean. And but moving out there, holy phenomenal. You had bright skies, you had fresh air, can you stand it? And you couldn't smell the slag, and you couldn't smell any of the chemicals. It was like, well, okay, it was really pretty neat.
They didn't quench in Levittown? If you have to be from the South Hills to understand specifically what to be quenched means. And I'm thinking that with Barbara's interview here, there are probably other people in the Moon area that would remember the names, not just of quenching, but of the stores that we were trying to relocate, like Marasini's, Helmstedters, Jaskell's.
Oh
there
my
were
gosh,
a lot
yeah.
of those stores. They're no longer in business at this time, but you know, we kind of had our hearts. You remember whenever, oh, Dr. Radin was up there and he filled all of our fillings without any Novocaine.
And he smoked a cigar. And, you know, and you just hoped that when you went to him, he wasn't smoking that cigar when he was looking in your mouth. Because just, okay, here you are with your mouth wide open and this cigar breath. I mean, it was just enough to gag a maggot. It was pretty gross. I don't know how he ever stayed in business.
He did. There were a lot of kids at that time in the town. But, you know, we also went up to the park, and the park is in pretty good shape, and Memorial Hill. So we were kind of happy to see that area, that, you know, and what has occurred there. But I'm just wondering, too, Barbara said that she took a lot of dance lessons when she was growing up, and I did not. I'm just wondering, where did you do dancing?
In McKeesport. Take the bus to McKeesport, and I danced at Ken and Jean's dance studio. For years, I danced there, and then we moved out to Levittown, and I didn't dance for a few years because we couldn't find a studio that was close enough that I could go by myself. And by that time, I was getting ready to graduate from high school, and I had other things to think about, so I really didn't dance again until I got to college.
And by the way, what college, from Wilson to Levittown, what college did you decide to go to?
Slippery Rock. I'll tell you, I loved it, and I'll tell you why I went there. I like the name. Doesn't make
That's
a whole.
how all kids base their decision to go to college.
I know. Everybody takes, you know, you take all the tests and you do all the preps, and you look at all the colleges that are available, and you finally, I settled on, I like the name. And another thing, it was far enough away from home that I couldn't go home on weekends. I wasn't going to be one of those kids that ran back and forth, but it was close enough that I could get home during the summer. And that's all I wanted, to go home. Other than that, I wanted to stay at school.
And when you were in school, now, what type of classes did you take to become a phys ed instructor or teacher?
Okay.
I know that you were quite excellent at, let me see, coaching field hockey, coaching ice hockey, coaching men's gymnastics.
Okay. Well, being from this area to begin with, I never heard of something called field hockey. I heard hockey. I mean, we all played hockey out here. It was ice hockey. You know, they would freeze the rink in the winter, and you played ice hockey. So, okay, so here comes this kid into this school, and it's like April, middle of April, and I'm in this ginormous gym class with two teachers. Oh, please, cut me a break. And they said, we're going to play hockey today. And I'm thinking, holy cow, this school's really rich. They have their own rink. And she said to me, honey, one teacher said, honey, well, she didn't call me honey. She said, Barbara, have you ever played hockey? And I said, yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh. She said, okay. So stop by the equipment room with the girls and get your stick. We're going out and play hockey. And I'm thinking, okay. And they gave me this funny looking stick. And we started outside, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm looking for the rink. Where's the rink? And we're going out onto grass. And I said to somebody, where's the rink? She said, we don't have a rink here. Where are you from? I said, I don't know what we're talking about here. So they gave me a ball, and they said, hit the ball. I hit that ball. I hit it everywhere. And at the end of class, the gym teacher came over and she said, tomorrow, instead of playing hockey, how about softball? I said, well, okay then.
Okay.
So then I go to Slippery Rock, and they think because I'm from Bucks County, where field hockey is king, was at that time for girls, they think I know how to play hockey. I didn't know how to play hockey. So once again, I got pulled aside and said, you need some extra help. So, and I learned how to play hockey. And I coached it. I coached hockey.
And she coached a lot of other activities too. And you retired after 25 years?
30
years.
Yeah, a little more than 30. I retired in 1995.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
after your retirement, and this is what I find fascinating, she picked up one or two or three other hobbies too, such as?
Okay. Well, first of all, we had a horse, a thoroughbred. He ran at Philly Park, and he hit the Luna Circle a couple of times, but that came about because my husband, I said I wanted a horse, and I meant to ride, so he bought me a horse, but it was a thoroughbred, not the horse I wanted to ride. That was one of the hobbies. And another hobby I decided I wanted to do was I wanted to learn how to do stained glass. So I went to a class, and the instructor said, you know, you're holding that cutter wrong. And I said, okay. And you're not doing this right. And I said, okay. And you're not, and I said, oh, wait, how about if you just walk away and leave me alone, and I'll figure this out. And she said, okay. So I did my project, and it was beautiful, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I do it to this day. And I went from that one class. I have two windows hanging up in Glenshaw in a house. They're not in the house, they're like the door, and then they're above the door and on the side of a house in Glenshaw. I made, I don't know, almost a dozen windows for my stepdaughter, who had a home in Berlin, a big old colonial or Victorian home in Berlin, New Jersey. So this was something I really enjoyed doing. And I did antiquing, and you're going to ask me about this.
Yes, by the way, Barbara,
way.
she mentioned that she used to collect glass and that she sold stuff on Etsy. And I said, oh, by the way, many years ago, I received this vase accidentally for free, and I showed it to Barbara, and guess what? I have $400 here, maybe, that I thought was just a piece of junk.
Okay, well, I sold on eBay. We used
I'm sorry.
That's okay. There's a big difference. But that was in the very, very beginning. They started in 1995, and I retired in 95. And my husband and I were going to flea markets and selling antiques and collectibles, Lambertville, New Jersey, up in Reading and Shrubs Grove. And then it dawned on me that I didn't have to be packing that truck and on the road at 4:30 in the morning. I could be sipping a cup of coffee and selling on eBay. So that's what I did. And I looked this up, but I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce this, but this was made in France in the late 1960s. And this value is between $300 and $400, this vase. Now, you have to understand, it's really easy to say what the value of it is. But the value of any object is whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. So even though you may know what the book value of something is, if you're not going to get that price for it, then that's not the value. It's whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. And that's Bobby's vase.
My beautiful vase
And
that I
she
know
should
is
treat
valuable.
treat this with respect.
And I'm putting in live silk flowers, too.
And she lies like a rug.
Now, the next question, though, that I have for Barbara, quickly, I just wanted to ask you, how do you like living in the Moon area?
I love it.
You have been here how long now?
We moved out here in March, and we moved out here in the midst of this COVID thing, and it was a difficult move. emotionally, and it took its toll on us physically. I love this. I love it. I love being here. I love everything it has to offer. And at the age of 82, I feel like I'm coming home, like I came home. It's been a long time, and I had a lot of detours in that road, but I had a lot of wonderful experiences too. And I am very glad to be here, Bobby. Very glad.
Well, Barbara, I can't thank Barbara enough. She's been a real enlightenment and brought a lot of enjoyment to my life. We have a lot of fun laughing about the old days, and I have this very long list of places that we're going to go visit. So if you're wondering whether or not you want to go to one of the Moon Concert Park or Friday nights or to the Robin Hill concert that they have on Wednesdays, don't hesitate. You never know. You also might find a long-lost friend that wants to share a bench with you. And I wanted to say in closing that if you have a story that you would like to share with us about your adventures since you have been in Moon Township, whether you were born here, whether you have moved here, I'd love to hear from you. This is Moon Landings. Just send us an email at Moon Landings, and we will make sure that we can have a film with you. And again, thank you so very much. We've enjoyed having you with us today. Bye.
Okay.